In this lecture, we'll learn about the characteristics that distinguish the many seahorse species and get to know the species of Southeast Asia. If you'd like to know about all the recognized species of seahorses in the world, you can download the full identification guide from the iSeahorse website. The iSeahorse toolkit also includes regional seahorse identification guides, such as the one provided as supplementary material in this course. First, we'll learn about seahorse morphology, or the various seahorse body parts, which will help you tell one species from another. Before we start, I'd like to emphasize that color is not a useful feature for telling seahorse species apart. As mentioned before, seahorses can change color to blend into their surroundings, and individuals within a species can be different colors. For example, the 4 seahorses below all belong to the same species, Hippocampus cuta. Here are the seahorse body parts. This is the seahorse head. On the head we have the mouth parts, or the snout. And on top of the head is the coronet, which looks like a little crown. From the head to the base of the dorsal fin is the trunk. From the base of the dorsal fin to the end of the seahorse's body is the tail. We often use facial spines to tell species apart, whether spines are present or absent, single or double, long or short, sharp or blunt, or unusually shaped. Under the chin of the seahorse are the cheek spines. The eye spine is found on top of the eye, and the nose spine is found between the eye and the snout. As we mentioned in Lecture 1, the male seahorse gets pregnant and stores fertilized eggs in a special brood pouch. Only male seahorses have this brood pouch. Sometimes when the pouch is empty, it can be hard to see, and you might think the seahorse is a female. At this time, look at where the belly of the seahorse joins the tail. In female seahorses, the belly joins the tail at a sharp angle, almost 90 degrees. In males, the belly joins the tail at a tapered angle. The belly in females also ends at the base of the dorsal fin, while the belly in males ends below the dorsal fin. For juvenile, or very young seahorses, the brood pouch is not well developed and can be difficult to see. In these cases, it's okay to list the sex of the seahorse as unknown. So, is this seahorse male or female? It's a female. What about this seahorse? It's a male with a brood pouch and a tapered belly. Which seahorse is male and which is female? The left is a female, and the seahorse on the right is a male. If you spot a male seahorse on your survey, we'd like to know if he is pregnant or not. Just look at the shape of the brood pouch. A swollen brood pouch, as shown here, indicates a pregnant male. In this section, we'll examine the large seahorse species of Southeast Asia. Some of these species range from the Pacific Islands as well. Seahorse species in Southeast Asia include pygmy and large species, and we'll be looking at the 9 large species. The first question to ask when you see a seahorse is whether it's a smooth or spiny seahorse. Smooth seahorses have no body spines, while the bodies of spiny seahorses are covered with spines. We'll start with 4 species of spiny seahorses. The first spiny seahorse is Hippocampus barburi, the barber's seahorse. The body and face of barburi are covered with sharp, well-defined spines. Barburi has a medium-high coronet that is spiky and double cheek spines, 1 pair of cheek spines on each side of the head. Very often, the snout of Barburi is striped as well. Here are photos of Hippocampus barburi. Take note of distinctive features such as the striped snout and double cheek spines. Next, we have Hippocampus comus, or the tiger-tail seahorse. As the name suggests, the tail of this seahorse is commonly striped. Comus is a spiny seahorse, but it has what we call rugged spines that are low and blunt. This seahorse also has double cheek spines, but unlike Barburi, the coronet is low and not spiny. Note the striped tail and double cheek spines in this photo. Comus also tends to have a small head relative to the rest of the body. Hippocampus hystrix is also known as the spiny or thorny seahorse, and it's definitely very spiny with long and sharp spines. Body spines of hystrix tend to be tipped with black or a dark color. Hystrix has long or prominent eye spines and nose spines, and unlike Barburi, it has a single cheek spine. Another characteristic is the relative length of the snout. Hystrix has a long snout relative to the length of the rest of the head. Keep this in mind for the next spiny species. Take note of the long, dark-tipped body spines and the long snout relative to the rest of the head. The last spiny seahorse is Hippocampus spinosissimus, or the hedgehog seahorse. Spinosissimus has well-developed body spines that are not as long or sharp as those of hystrix. Also, unlike hystrix, Spinosissimus has a long nose spine, or no nose spine at all. The snout of Spinosissimus is roughly the same length as the rest of its head, shorter than the snout of hystrix. This species can have single or double cheek spines. Take a look at the snout length. It is roughly the same length as the rest of the head. This individual also does not have a nose spine. So those were the 4 spiny seahorses: Hippocampus barburi, Hippocampus comus, Hippocampus hystrix, and Hippocampus spinosissimus. Now we move to the 5 species of smooth seahorses. The first smooth seahorse is Hippocampus kelloggi, or Kellogg's seahorse. If you remember from the first lecture, this is one of the largest seahorse species in the world, growing to 30 to 35 centimeters in height. It is not that common to see kelloggi, as the large individuals are usually found in deep water, around 30 meters or deeper. Like the other smooth seahorses, the body of kelloggi is largely smooth, and any body spines are low and rounded. Kelloggi has a high coronet and a relatively long eye spine compared to the next smooth species, Hippocampus cuda. Its cheek spine is blunt and slightly backward pointing. The body of kelloggi is narrow or skinny with thick trunk rings. Note the blunt, backward-pointing cheek spine, prominent eye spine, and narrow body. The next species, Hippocampus cuda, the common seahorse, looks similar to Hippocampus kelloggi. Unlike kelloggi, however, cuda has a deep or fat body. So smooth and skinny is kelloggi, and smooth and fat is cuda. Cuda also has a low coronet and a rounded cheek spine. Notice the deep or fat body of cuda and the low eye spine compared to kelloggi. The next seahorse, Hippocampus trimaculatus, is also known as the 3-spot seahorse. As the common name suggests, this seahorse usually has 3 dark spots along its back. Sometimes the 3 spots are not obvious. In this case, look for the cheek spine. Hippocampus trimaculatus has a hook-shaped cheek spine that is very distinctive. Can you see the hook-like cheek spine of this seahorse? Hippocampus monarchy is a dwarf seahorse, with adults growing to a maximum height of 8 centimeters, It is usually found in seagrass areas, holding on to a seagrass blade with its tail. Monarchy has a very short snout relative to its head, which is very distinctive. This species has double-rounded cheek spines. Note the very short snout and double cheek spines. The last smooth seahorse, Hippocampus alatus, is also called the winged seahorse, so named because of paired, flattened spines along its neck that resemble wings. So far, this seahorse has only been recorded in Indonesia. Note the paired, flattened spines resembling wings found on the neck here. To recap, the 5 smooth species are Hippocampus kilauea, Hippocampus cuda, Hippocampus trimaculatus, Hippocampus monarchy, and Hippocampus alatus. Do you remember what the 4 spiny species are? What if you've examined your species identification guide thoroughly and still can't identify a seahorse? We still want your data. It is important for us to know where seahorses are found in general as well. Report your sightings to iSeahorse as an unknown seahorse, and submit photographs if possible so iSeahorse experts can help to identify your seahorse species. It's also helpful to note any distinguishing characteristics, such as the size of the seahorse stripes, markings, bumps, and other body features. Are you ready to identify seahorse species in Southeast Asia?